mom handed me an official letter of disownment after I refused to attend my sister's wedding after she stole my fiancé 2 weeks before our wedding. She actually printed it on fancy cardstock with both their signatures notarized. My dad added at the bottom in red pen, effective immediately, like I was being terminated from the family. The whole thing was dated and witnessed by my aunt, who wouldn't even look at me. I just looked at them standing in my living room like they'd done something reasonable and smiled. Thank you for making this so easy. That was 3 weeks ago. This morning they showed up at my door at 6 a.m., absolutely losing their minds, begging me to call off what I'd started. Let me back up because the full story makes this so much sweeter. My name is Avery, and 4 years ago I started a wedding photography business with my fiancé Tristan. We met in college, fell in love over our shared passion for photography, and built something real together. The business was thriving. We had bookings 18 months out and a waiting list. 2 weeks before our wedding, I came home early from a consultation to find Tristan and my sister Carmen in our bed. Not just together, rose petals everywhere, champagne, like they'd been planning this romantic moment. Carmen looked at me and said, "I'm sorry you had to find out this way, but we're in love. Real love, not whatever settling thing you two had going." Settling thing? We'd been together 6 years. Tristan at least had the decency to look ashamed for about 5 seconds before saying, "Carmen understands my artistic vision in a way you never did." I moved out that night, canceled the wedding. My parents' response? They invited Carmen and Tristan to Sunday dinner the next week. When I confronted my mom, she said, "Avery, you're being dramatic. These things happen. You'll work it out eventually. Carmen's happiness matters too." I told them I wasn't coming to Carmen's wedding. They'd already rescheduled it for what would have been my wedding date. Same venue, same flowers. Carmen even tried to keep my photographer. That's when mom showed up with the letter. She handed it to me with this satisfied smirk. "It's in the past, so woman up. If you can't get over it and support your sister, you're not our daughter anymore." Dad nodded from behind her. "She's always been the better daughter anyway. Goodbye." 28 years of being second choice, and they finally said it out loud. Here's what they didn't know though. When Tristan and I started the business, I'd put up most of the capital from my grandmother's inheritance. We were equal partners on paper, but I had majority investment. After the breakup, I used the rest of my grandmother's trust fund to buy Tristan out completely. My lawyer is brilliant. Clause deep in the buyout contract. If Tristan got married or entered a domestic partnership within 6 months of our separation, I retained full access to all client files, vendor contacts, and business communications. Everything. So when Carmen married him last week in my dress at my venue, I got it all. Then I started looking closer at those files. Turns out Tristan had been doing under-the-table photography jobs for cash. Weddings he never reported. Events paid in cash that never showed up on tax forms. Tens of thousands of dollars over 4 years. Even better, my parents had co-signed his equipment loans when we started the business. They'd been helping him hide the income because they were claiming him as a dependent for tax purposes. Insurance fraud, tax evasion, the works. I compiled everything into a neat folder and handed it to the IRS on Monday morning. They called my dad at 5 a.m. today. The banging on my door started 20 minutes later. I made coffee first, let them panic, let them feel what desperation tastes like for once. When I finally opened the door, mom's makeup was running down her face. Dad looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. "You're destroying this entire family over a man?" Mom sobbed. I pulled the disownment letter off my fridge where I'd taped it and held it up. "I'm not family anymore, remember? You made that very clear. I'm just following your advice and moving on." "The IRS is auditing us," Dad said, his voice shaking. "They're looking at everything. The business, the house, our retirement accounts. Avery, please, we can fix this as a family." "What family?" I asked. "Your exact words were that Carmen was always the better daughter, so she can help you with this." Carmen was calling now. I put her on speaker. "Avery, the investigators called Tristan. They're saying the wedding photos I took with the studio equipment are evidence." "Evidence of what?" "Of operating a business using fraudulently obtained equipment loans," I said calmly. "The gear Dad co-signed for was supposed to be for a legitimate registered business, but Tristan never properly reported the income, which means Dad committed loan fraud." The line went quiet. "You're insane," Carmen whispered. "No," I said. "I'm thorough. There's a difference. Mom taught me that actually. She always said to finish what I started." I'm hanging up now. I have a consultation with a new client. Turns out when you're the sole owner of the best photography business in town, bookings really pick up. "Oh, and Carmen, I kept your wedding photos. They're Exhibit C."